To BC's interior now, where it is a waiting game as the flood risk rises. But for some people in Willowbrook, north of Oliver, the flooding problems have been hitting them for some time. The CBC's Tina Lovgreen introduces us to a woman and her family forced out again.
In this quiet neighborhood, the stream now runs steady, but not before shaking up the area. The roads were ripped out to make way for the water. Some residents can only leave their home by foot on makeshift crossings. Others have had to scramble to find a place to keep their horses as their pastures are flooded. Others, like Michelle Weisheit, have had to turn to their neighbors for a place to stay.
So we have our family of 4 crammed into a 2-bedroom basement suite down here.
It's crammed, but it beats the alternative.
Because we have no running water at our house right now because we can't use our septic.
They've been here for 2 weeks now. You see, the Weisheits live a few houses down, and the groundwater has seeped into their basement.
So this is our flooded basement.
The same thing happened last year.
So we have all the drywall's been cut again 2 feet off the wall, up from the floor. All our cabinets here have all been taken out.
She says they asked the government to replace culverts in the area months ago, but it said it couldn't because of weather conditions.
Nothing was done, even though we urged, and now we're back in this situation again. That's what's the most upsetting.
Last year, they were out of their home for 4 months, and she suspects this year it will be much the same.
I don't see an end in sight anytime soon.
Meanwhile, emergency officials continue to prepare for flooding along creeks and channels in the central Okanagan. The snowpack is more than 150% above normal, and it's starting to melt with our recent warmer temperatures. Tina Lovgreen is in Kelowna now and has more on what the city there is doing to prepare.
That's right. I'm by Mill Creek here in Kelowna. Now, last spring, this creek was filled with so much water that the water poured over into people's properties. It filled their basements and crawl spaces. Now, this year, emergency officials say they've learned their lesson and are preparing. They've lined the creek with nearly 10 kilometers of aqua dams, and they've removed trees. But officials are asking residents to prepare their properties for what may come.
Until they actually see some flooding and hear about it within the city and other areas. I mean, hopefully we're seeing the warnings from Oliver and from Princeton, Tulameen, and other places that are being hit a little bit sooner than we are. And it's such a nice day, and the creek doesn't look too threatening right now, so it'll ramp up, I'm sure.
And I spoke to some residents who say while they appreciate all the work emergency officials have done, they're still concerned.
Everybody was flooded, so people are nervous right now. They're on edge. Some people have already taken the precaution and pulled everything up. Some people have unfinished basements, so it's not such a big deal, but our neighbors next door just moved in and just renovated, so they're quite nervous.
Currently, there are 133 properties under an evacuation order across the province. Tina Lovgreen, CBC News, Kelowna.